I'm being laughed at. It didn't take long. All right, well, now it's time for our Offside Onside segment. We're going to flash the topic up on the screen for you. Week 1 in the NFL led to 4 concussions. The NFL's medical committee says what happened is not the start or a continuation of a trend, so there is no cause for concern. Do coaches, trainers, and league officials need to do more than just educate players about the risks involved? I know we're into week 2, and it wasn't as dramatic as far as the head injuries are concerned, but you guys both coach hockey teams, and I mean, realistically, obviously, we've said this before, injuries are an inevitable.
See, told you.
There we go. Took long. An inevitable part of the game. But if you look at the Eagles player, Stuart Bradley, the guy got his bell rung, stumbles off the field, and then gets put back in the game. I think you've got to draw the line somewhere. Somebody has to be the whistleblower in that instance.
Well, I think he stumbled. God, that was funny, and you didn't even laugh. I thought that was funny.
No.
You had the hands going and everything. Okay. All right, forget it. Went by us. You know what? I think NFL, and I thought this was a good subject, and I do have one viewpoint on it. There's a lot of contact head-to-head.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And is that the education that they need? I think that football is one of the toughest sports, hands down, no question, for whatever, 60 minutes, whatever. But the head-on-head, I mean, I don't know how much the brain or the neck can take, and I think they need to be some rule implemented in there.
Well, see, you bring up a good point because, I mean, Kyle, you're a coach. Obviously, you're player, you are too, but, you know, do you think that your players feel the pressure to, even when they are hurt or maybe they're not feeling 100%, to go because there's that added pressure?
You know, I went through this past weekend with my hockey team, and you know, I had a kid who wants to play. He wants to be on the ice. He wants to make the hockey team, and he just can't go. He's got a concussion from a lack of respect between players, and it starts in minor football, minor hockey. There needs to be a respect put in for the other person that you're playing against, and I think now with the big shoulder pads, the big elbow pads, the helmets that they say are concussion proof, there's lack of respect, and the players need to understand that there's serious things that can happen to the body if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And we had a kid that wanted to play like last week with a concussion. You've got one brain, and you don't mess with it, and we won't mess with it. But it's so funny, when Terry O'Reilly was here, we were talking about concussions back in our day. We wasn't a concussion. We got our bell rung.
Yeah.
And we probably played all of those games. Today, as Kyle just said, I think that's the biggest point.
But then is there a stigma attached to it, though, Brian? Like, do you see it going on with your junior players that it's, oh, you know, I don't want to be the suck on the team. I don't want to be the one who doesn't play because I have a headache.
You know what? There is peer pressure. There's no question about it.
But what do you do then? That's my question. What do you do to get over that, or how do you send that message?
The message, the only thing, like in pro, it's a security of your job. Really, it is. Like for me, I never wanted to be out because I knew I was an average player playing in the NHL. So if I let anyone take my job, I was out. So I was scared. I'll tell you that. I was petrified to get taken out. So what do you do to teach them? You know what? You just try to get in there and make them feel better about, hey, you know, who you are and where your position stands. And with these young kids, I mean, they're fighting for their professional
Do you
lives.
think it helps that someone like Paul Kariya or Mark Savard step out and say, I can't go, and this is why? Well,
you know, they're definitely showing leadership and showing the world that, hey, you know what, it's okay to say, you know what, I can't go. You know, but again, as you funnel down into the AJ and the minor hockey ranks, there's pressure, and you want to be a part of the hockey team. You know that maybe if you miss 3 or 4 weeks, am I going to get back in the lineup? Am I going to have my spot? Sometimes there's that pressure's just.
And you'll never believe this though, but people, this is a funny point, or maybe not so funny. Do you know that players use it as an excuse to not play?
No, see, that surprises me.
That is not, that is NHL. I know 2 players factually, because they have to stay out. Now this was years back, that said they had a concussion when this all started, the big concussion thing. They used it because they were out for a month and they were collecting NHL money before they got sent to the minors.
Interesting.
And it
well,
happens.
See, that's why we have the guests that we have on the set, because we learned, but we have to take another break now, but stay tuned. We will return with our Extra Frame segment.